Hey there, folks. So, I have been watching Fowlers Makery and Mischief, his 30-day Canadian Rocky Survival Challenge. I noticed on one of his episodes he had this small pocket carry EDC possibles pouch, survival pouch, and I thought, I like the look of that thing. So I went on the website and found out that it costs $100 US. I live in Canada, so that's like 130 something, I think, Canadian. Then I'd have to pay a ton for shipping. And I thought to myself, looking at this minus the slingshot and the slingshot ammo, I pretty much have all the components here at home. So what I did was I scavenged around the house and threw together a very similar kit, plus and minus a few things. But essentially what I did was save myself over $100 US. And basically everything I have here I already had in the house. The only thing I had to purchase is that Night Eyes pouch you see there in the back. The exact name of it I don't know. It's a Night Eyes pocket pouch or card pouch, I think they call it. It's waterproof anyway. There's the pouch, and I bought that off Amazon. It was probably 20 something bucks in Canadian, probably less in the States. So it's pretty good. I like it. The good zipper on it so far. I don't know if you had a good look at his setup, but I have just about everything minus these two spools of thread. I believe it's thread, could be something else. And this fishing tube, I suppose that's meant to be a hobo reel. I do have one of these, but I carry it in my wallet. That's from Grim Survival Tools, the cord carrier. I've got a fishing line wrapped around that, and it's in my wallet. Safety pins. These are like stink bait, little tiny fishing lures, hooks and sinkers, a small multi-tool, a spark tool carabiner. I'm not a big fan of those, so I don't have one of those. And a fire steel and striker. And then of course you've got your ammo and your slingshot, which I don't have in this kit, and I don't believe he does either. I think it's just on the side there. Kevlar cord, micro cord, Fowler tool from Grim, and then these papers are Spartan Fire, I believe they're called, and they take a strike a match or a fire steel really well. So what I did essentially, by looking closely at the kit that they've put together, is put together my own kit here. And what I've done is more or less the same thing. There are a few differences, slight differences. So I guess we'll start here. Of course, you've got the pouch, and I believe that's the smallest one that they offer. This is micro cord, and I don't know exactly how much, but it's a pretty good hank of it. This is the Kevlar cord, and that's another decent sized hank of it. I'm not sure how much that is actually. So, and then I have alcohol wipes, swabs, and some bandages. That's a little first aid mix and boo-boo type thing. Here I have about 10 packs of 5 packs of 10 tablets of these aqua tabs. And I think that one tablet does 500 milliliters or perhaps a liter. I don't remember offhand. If anyone knows, please feel free to comment. And then I have one of these 1 liter water bags. I like putting those in most of my kits. They're nice. Moving along here, some stormproof matches with a side of the box striker. About 6 or 7 of these, 6 of these Tinder Quicks. They take a spark really nicely. Little fire steel on a key ring with a really great striker that I picked up off Amazon. Most of this stuff comes from Amazon. Anyway, so there's that, and it throws a spark like there's no tomorrow, so that's great. In this bag I have about 6 or 7 hooks, 4 or 5 sinkers, a P32 can opener, I believe it's called, P57, I can't remember now, and a one single safety pin, which I intend to get more of, and then one Mepps Black Fury #1. So that's a small little fishing kit and stuff like that. A Leatherman style, PS whatever. This has pliers. It also has scissors and a knife and tweezers and a beaner clip, and it's pretty decent little tool that's in there. I have a Fresnel lens, which is awesome, and then on the back I've got a sail needle, Gorilla tape to the back so that it doesn't poke through my kit. I have the Grimm Workshop cards. These are the little ones. So there's needles, there's arrowheads, gig head, arrowhead, saw, and a couple of fish hooks. I like these little things, and they're re-stickable and everything, and on the back this is glow in the dark, I believe, so it's kind of a multi-use thing. These papers, these Spartan Fire papers, I think I mentioned those. This small O-light, I forget the exact name of this one. Small O-light, and it's pretty bright for a little tiny light. So that's awesome. And then a spool of 8-pound test spider wire monofilament fishing line. Quite a bit of it. It took me a while to spool this, actually. And so that sort of comprises part of my fishing kit as well. I do intend to get a few more safety pins and throw them in this kit. So this is the my version of Fowler mystery, or mischief and mayhem, or mischief and yeah, I don't want to say it wrong. He's a great guy. I love his videos. I'm especially liking his 30-day survival challenge in the Canadian Rockies. Yeah, Fowlers Makery and Mischief. He made this possible pouch, and I have basically taken things around my house and bought the same pouch, and then put everything in the kit, and it all fits in there, believe it or not. It's tight, but it does fit. And the way it works essentially is I'm thinking it's perfect in a cargo pocket of the pants. Doesn't weigh me down too much. Definitely something you can carry with you, and that you don't know you have it on you, really, essentially. One of the reasons I was very fond of this kit in particular is because I was on a canoe trip with a couple of buddies not too long ago. It was in May, and it was in Ontario, Canada, in Algonquin Park. And the water was cold. It was still very cold, and we were deep within the park camping out. We had paddled for days and found ourselves in a very big lake in the middle of the park, and camped there. And a couple of my buddies decided to go out fishing in their canoe, and my friend and I stayed in the camp, and they were gone for a very long time, and we thought, wow, they must be catching a lot of fish. Well, it turns out they dumped the canoe in the middle of the lake and the freezing waters, and they had to swim that boat into shore a considerable distance. They lost everything, their shoes, their fishing gear, you name it. If it was in that boat, it went. And I thought to myself, man, if those guys had had just a small little kit on them. I think the other thing I might like to put in here is a whistle, and I think somewhere in the house I have one of those whistles from one of the knife manufacturers that's really thin. That might fit in there very nicely. But I thought to myself, if those boys had a kit with them, that something that wouldn't fall out of their boat, something they had on their body, they'd probably have been a lot better off once they reached shore. They could have signaled, they could have started a fire, they could have had water to drink, they could have, done a number of things here with this stuff. And this is just a small little kit. Doesn't really cover shelter aside from a little bit of cordage, but hopefully you'd have a poncho with you or a tarp, I'm thinking. This is a bare bones small kit, but all this stuff I believe could come in handy and perhaps save your bacon when you're out there. I feel like if those guys had something similar to this, they may have been off, or they may have been a lot better off than they were. They froze their tails off paddling, dumping the boat out on shore, and then paddling back to our camp, and they were borderline hypothermic and seriously messed up when they got back to camp. We essentially built a fire, wrapped them in an emergency blanket, cooked up some coffee to try and heat them back up. So that was my thinking here, and I thank Fowlers Makery and Mischief for having the same kit or close to the same kit and giving me the idea to copy his. And I think I've done a pretty close job. I think there's a couple things different, but not a terrible amount different. So just in case you thought, hey, I might like to do that too, that bag there was about 20 something Canadian, probably less in the States, and everything else I had around the house. So very easy to throw together something that could save your tail while you're out there. I hope you enjoyed this, and by all means, please go and check out Fowlers Makery and Mischief. He's doing currently a Canadian survival challenge, 30-day survival challenge in the Rockies, and I've been watching every single episode. It's amazing. It's amazing what I'm learning by seeing them do it, and it's amazing the kit that I was able to throw together based on him and what he did. So again, have a good day, and I hope you enjoy this. Please feel free to comment if you can think of anything I should add. Mind you, I don't have a lot of spare space in there. If there's anything you think I should omit or add, please comment and let me know. I'd love to hear your suggestions. Have a good day.